I wipe my tears away every time I put on my gloves, because it hurts to do this to the ones that you love. Galaxy Book 2. Let's talk about it, Samsung. So what I'll do for this video is this. I'll tell you guys the things I do like first, and I'll tell you things that I feel Samsung should kind of work on, maybe for the Galaxy Book 3. I would try to make this, I'm trying not to turn this into a bashing video. It's more so that, hey, Samsung, I buy a lot of your products, so can you just kind of keep these things in mind when you make your next product? So we can call it like more of a Dear Samsung. First thing that I do like is the 2K display. The display on this machine is fire. I love watching media on it. Despite the bezels, we'll talk about that. But overall, the display and the colors, the AMOLED panel, it looks really good on the Galaxy Book 2. The next thing that I actually enjoy is the battery life and how fast it charges. So I'll probably say I can get like a full charge, maybe like around 2.5, maybe 3 hours. But the tablet usually lasts me literally for like, I just plugged it up again, maybe I've been using like 3 to 4 days straight. So I just plugged it in yesterday. So the battery life is crazy. And I think it's because, again, it's, you know, it's not using like an Intel core processor. It's using a Snapdragon 850. So that more than likely has a lot to do as far as power consumption. I also love the fact that it came with the keyboard, which is backlit, and it has a trackpad on it. And it also came with the S Pen already bundled inside. Now for $1,000, you probably figure like, well, yeah, it should. But we've seen other companies who will say you just like a certain device and say everything gets like over $100 a piece. So, you know, take it how you want to take it. Because technically, if you, I know right now you guys are saying that it's $1,000, but let's just say if we took away the S Pen and the keyboard, it would technically be the same price as the iPad Pro. So just something to kind of keep in mind. I also like the fact that it has 2 USB-C ports and expandable storage. So, and both of those ports accept fast charging, and again, you can add an SD card in there to kind of get more room for the onboard storage of 128 gigabytes of SSD. But again, you can make that even larger with an SD card. Now I know you guys are wondering, like, is that it? That's all I have for the likes. So let's go ahead and get into the things I feel like Samsung could have done better. All right, so number one, this will be kind of unorthodox for the most part. I was just writing notes down as I was coming through problems that I was noticing. So I just kind of bring them to your attention as I wrote them down. All right, so the first thing that I did, obviously on this big old machine, was try to play some games. Wow, okay, gaming on this, do not do. So here's the thing, you have to download all the games from the App Store. Now what's crazy is even some of the games that I can run on my Note 9, like Asphalt 9, I couldn't get it to work on the Galaxy Book 2. Now, for those who don't know, the Galaxy Book 2 only has 4 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. My Note 9 has 6 gigabytes of RAM, and some of them actually, and some of the other Note 9 variants has 8 gigabytes of RAM with 512 gigabytes of storage. Mine's currently have 128 gigabytes of storage. So, and also has an Adreno 630 GPU. So I'm more than likely assuming that this does not have a dedicated GPU card, and it showed. As I was playing I think it's called Modern Combat 5, I was getting frames rate like around 24, 23 FPS, man. I'm like, yo, this cannot be real. And some of the games, actually, believe it or not, is just not, the Galaxy Book 2 isn't strong enough to handle. It'll straight tell you, like, you do not meet the system requirements to play this game. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now, another thing that completely blew my mind, I was just like, Samsung, what was the thinking behind this one? Now, it could just be my model, but from what I'm experienced, when I plug my Note 9 in and maybe just charge or to export media from my device, it doesn't work. Now, I'm pretty sure I could just go ahead and download Samsung Flow, but that's not the point. The point is, I have a Galaxy Note 9, and I would expect it to speak to the Galaxy Book 2 in a certain way that other devices maybe can't with, right? So I'm assuming I'll plug up my Galaxy Note 9, maybe I get like a special interface. I don't know, something that's to show me that you guys are connecting in such a way. And what's funny is I just did a video about Samsung's ecosystem. The Galaxy Book 2, I mean, it falls along with Samsung ecosystem again, because you can use Samsung Flow, but I just wanted things just to be a little bit more close knit. Heck, I would even like to see Bixby on this 2-in-1 tablet if they could have did that. So let's move on to the next thing, Windows 10s. Windows 10s is just not ready yet. Like, I see the direction that Microsoft is going, but they're not there yet. So to kind of make a whole tablet based around this whole OS, I think was kind of premature. There's not a lot of apps in the App Store, right? And I know you guys are probably thinking, well, Sean, this upgrade to Windows 10 Pro. Let me tell you something right now. Do yourself a favor. Don't do that. Put Windows 10 Pro on a machine with only 4 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage is like the worst thing. Like, it was really bogging down. Like, me just trying to run just straight basic Chrome, you know what I mean? Because you can't download Chrome from the Windows store. You're gonna use Microsoft Edge. So I was trying to download Windows Chrome. I downloaded it, but I was kind of using it. It was lagging really, really bad, like really bad. And that kind of brings me down to my next point. So I figure with me installing Windows 10 Pro, I don't really need like a super heavy editing software, but I figure if, you know, iPhones and other other Android devices in the future will be able to run Adobe Premiere Rush, then this tablet should have no problem doing that. That tablet, because again, if you run Windows 10 Pro, it does not meet the system requirements. So there's gonna be a lot of things that if you download Windows 10, if you upgrade to that, there's gonna be a lot of apps and stuff that you can't use because this device does not fall within the system requirements because it runs an ARM. Now, for those who don't know what Windows 10s is, let me explain to you right now. Windows 10s, think of it as kind of like iOS App Store, right? You can only download apps from the Microsoft Store. You can't download anything from anywhere else. But the good thing about that is once you remove that app from your system, it doesn't write anything in a registry or anything like that. It takes it completely off, so your system will always continue to run fast and smoothly. Problem is with that though, again, Windows 10s is still kind of premature, so it's not really up there yet. And again, with this running the ARM, there's a lot of stuff that just does not work in this regular .exe file. So you just won't meet the system requirements. So if I were you, do not upgrade to Windows 10 Pro. It's the worst thing you could do on that tablet. And again, they do have Photoshop on there. Photoshop works. I found the experience better on my Galaxy Note 9, obviously, right? Because it's technically, I would say at least more powerful. Now, I'm not, on my channel, I don't really care about Geekbench scores, so you guys won't be seeing that here. I'm just really telling you from a user experience. Photoshop just runs better on my Note 9. Another thing I feel they could have did differently was actually put, since they have 2 USB-C ports and they both do charging, I think it'd have been smarter to kind of put one on each side versus having 2 on one side, because they have the charger ports on the right. Now, most people usually kind of like charge things to the left, or maybe it could just be me, but most time I charge my device, I'm used to my charging cables being on the left. It's just convenient for me. I don't know why, but it is. But I guess they figure if you lay in the bed, you want to plug it up, it's to the right of you. But I don't know, that can kind of go either way. I just feel like they should put charging port on each side versus having 2 ports that charge on one side. Like, that kind of, well, what's the point of that? That kind of defeats the purpose, you know what I mean? Like, why would you just have one side just with ports and the other side with nothing? Like, yeah. Now, as far as like I told you guys, the display is amazing, but Samsung, we've been kind of toting this whole infinity display, and that's one thing I can say about Apple. Like, even if you look at the new iPads, right? The new iPads is kind of, you know, featuring like a all screen display, right? Very minimum bezels. On the Galaxy Book 2, the bezels is like crazy thick, yo, like on some anime eyebrow thick. I'm like, yo, Samsung, man, you guys have the craziest, like, you guys got the game on lock on displays. Be like, if anything, that whole tablet should have just been a display. If that's just me though. Now, there is a plus to this. There's some things I didn't mention, I forgot to mention with the things I do like part. That's the fact that actually the cameras on here are pretty decent. Like for video calling, I did a test on video calling, and the camera, the front facing camera is a 5 megapixel and the rear facing camera is an 8 megapixel. But for Skype call and Hangouts, man, that thing is actually okay in my book, because you got to think about it. Most webcams on PCs are usually like around 1.2 megapixels or 2, something crazy like that. So to get 5 megapixels on the tablet is actually good for video calling, especially now that you're always connected with LTE, because that's the whole thing they're pushing with this tablet, is the fact that you're always connected, and I'm with Sprint LTE. Now, just for a price point for you guys to know, this tablet is $1,000, but for Sprint, if you get it on Sprint, you pay roughly about $80 a month extra, like to lease it and to have a unlimited data plan with it. Now let's kind of talk about the S Pen. Now the S Pen works, it functions. There's a slight delay when you hit the button to bring up the shortcut menu like you have on the Note 9 for you to bring up screen right. All that stuff works perfectly fine. It's just that I would kind of like it just a little bit more fluid. Again, Samsung, you know, you guys got it with the phones for the most part, man. It's right now we gotta kind of work on the tablets, because you guys have a lane for it. The execution wasn't what I wanted it to be exactly. So with the S Pen, it works, it's good. You could use both sides, one for more for precision, more for just for tapping. There is a magnet inside the S Pen. It attaches to the tablet, but I wouldn't use it to like transport anything. They do have a pouch, but like that magnet is not strong enough. So it's more so like if you're sitting in a meeting somewhere, or you like at a Starbucks, you kind of just want to sit it down because you want it to roll. you could definitely sit it there, man, but I would say just kind of keep the pouch on standby. It'll save you the headache. Now, for me, as far as the S Pen is concerned, I would suggest Samsung, maybe just kind of going back to the Galaxy Note 10.1 edition, where you actually had the stylus built into the machine. Like, that was way more convenient. I don't know why you guys start implementing that. I felt like if you guys kind of with the Note 9 approach and make it where it's ejectable, you pull it out, and I think you guys can really make that work. Now, it probably would mess up the whole thin profile of the tablet. I understand that, but I don't know, man. I think I'd rather take that sacrifice of having it already built inside the tablet where I could just pull it out with no problem, versus having it potentially roll off of me actually just losing the thing. I know I've been kind of bashing it for a long time, man, but we're almost coming to a close. Trust me, we're almost done. Next, we're gonna actually talk about the hardware. Now, the hardware on it, as far as like the build and the aluminum chassis, I actually like that. And that's another thing I forgot to mention. The chassis on this thing is actually very durable. It's strong. It's aluminum with the kickstand is nice. You know, I definitely had no problem with the kickstand, and I actually like the way the tablet overall looks. I didn't even touch on the speakers. The speakers are meh at best. Here's an example so you can check it out for yourself. But again, as you guys can see, the speakers, like I said, they're okay. They're not mind-blowing. Obviously, take the Note 9 speakers over that, to be honest. You know, that's just me, though. Let's go ahead and wrap this up and just kind of put into conclusion. Maybe like, I don't want to kind of just make this a bash Samsung video, but I just wanted to make sure I cover everything in detail of what I don't like and kind of maybe who this tablet is for. Now, if you are a person who is looking specifically for just sending emails, and maybe you, like for myself, I have mobile signatures with clickable links. You can't really do that on your phone. So it's nice to have this two-in-one with you for all that type of versatility, maybe doing like a little media consumption, because it is very light. And that's one thing I did not touch on. The tablet is very, very light, very portable, very easy to use or take out. The keyboard, you know, it closes like because it's a book cover, so it's very it's very portable. I would definitely give Samsung that. The viewing experience is decent. Like as far as angles are concerned, they're pretty good. Now, as far as the keyboard and everything's concerned, like, it is backlit. I wish the trackpad was a little bit bigger, but then again, you know, it is a 2-in-1 technically tablet. So the keyboard is okay. Is it a little flimsy? No, not in my opinion, because I'm already knowing what to expect when I kind of use this keyboard. So I'm not expecting this keyboard to be like on a mechanical keyboard type level, but it has decent key travel and it's actually pretty okay to type on. So I don't really have a problem with the keyboard. I just kind of wish the trackpad was just a little bit bigger. Not a huge thing there. The kickstand works perfectly fine. I like it for that. But again, not to kind of go off on a tangent here, this tablet is more so again for the person who just kind of want to send emails out, maybe watch a few documents, sign a few documents, do very, very light work that you really don't want to kind of do on your phone if you just want a bigger space. Honestly, as of right now, I would recommend the Tab S4 over the Galaxy Book 2, due to the fact that you have more of an app selection because you could download apps from the actual Play Store. So when Adobe Premiere Rush actually does come out, you can actually edit videos on your Tab S4. And unfortunately, the Galaxy Book 2, like the Windows Store has video editing apps, but man, nah, fam, I'm not using that. Plus, if I record anything off my Galaxy Book 2, I can't even plug it in for a direct wire transfer. I'm more than likely gotta use Samsung Flow. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just so much more potential here, man. Like, can I recommend this just as a straight buy to someone right now? I'm gonna be honest with you, I cannot recommend the Galaxy Book 2 for a straight buy right now. Right now, honestly, I feel like you get a lot more bang for your buck with a Tab S4 because you can actually turn it to DeX mode and actually use it for a whole, you know, full desktop experience. Right now, the Galaxy Book 2 just seems like a product that it's a great step, but it's just a poor execution, you know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping Samsung sees this video. I feel like they can make the Galaxy Book 3 even better if they kind of touch on these key points that I focused on today. I can't recommend that you buy this tablet with your own money. I can't do it. Sorry, Samsung. But I hope I covered everything in this video, man. If you guys feel like I missed some points, please, you know, ask questions down below. I make sure I respond to everyone. I respond to all my people questions, man. I got more videos like this. If you guys haven't seen my Galaxy Note 9 review, make sure you can check that out for phone of the year. I got a Galaxy ecosystem video, man. Like, I do a lot of Samsung product coverage on here. So if you're into that, stay tuned, subscribe, stay locked in. It's your boy Sean B. Nice, man. I'm out. Deuces.